Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope your day and your weekend are going very well so far. We got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. We're getting closer and closer to that 100,000 subscriber goal. Hopefully by next week we get there, but we need your help to do it. So if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. We have a ton of great content here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel between myself, Ev, Trey, across NFL, college football, NBA, so much great stuff. And the best part is, guys, every pick we hand out here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel is 100% free. So please, if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. All right, guys, with a new day comes a new opportunity to go ahead and make some money. I have 4 NBA player props to go ahead and share with you guys in tonight's slate. But first, before we dive into tonight's picks, a quick little recap of how we did last night. And spoiler alert, we did pretty well. That's right, guys. We officially cashed our first Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay of the NBA season. I had a feeling we were really close last week. We went 4 out of 5 legs. This week, we cashed 5 out of 5 plus 612. That's how gambling goes, guys. Thursday night, we had one of the worst nights in the show's history. We went 1-6, a horrible performance from us on Thursday night. And the next day, we cashed a parlay plus 612. We go 5 out of 5 on the parlay. Welcome to sports betting. That's how it goes. One night, you're the worst bettor in the world. The next night, you're one of the best. Plus 612, really nice hit. Unfortunately, we didn't have a complete sweep yesterday because we did have our ladder challenge, which was a 2-leg parlay plus 112. In hindsight, Scoot Henderson may have cashed us the 5-leg parlay, but he did not cash us the ladder challenge. I don't know if you guys actually watched any of that Blazers game last night, how it happened. The rebound that Scoot got that cashed the over was a pretty stupid rebound. Personally, I wouldn't have even counted as a rebound, but of course, it counted, thankfully. He literally touched the ball for like a half a second, then went right over to DeAndre Ayton. It looked like he never had possession of it, but hey, you know what? I'm not one to argue. We'll take the cash. Unfortunately, though, Scoot Henderson could not come through with us for the ladder challenge, so unfortunately, that parlay does not hit. So we went 1-1 last night on parlays, plus 5.12 units. We're now 1-3 on parlays this year, but up 3.62 units. That's why I always say, guys, parlays, they're a marathon, not a sprint, because we're 1-3, yet we're up over 3 units this year. I'll probably go ahead and do another ladder challenge as we get closer to like the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm not going to do one right now. Obviously, we lost, so therefore we're not on. We fell off the ladder before we even really got on it. I'll do another ladder challenge later this month to go ahead and make up for that. But overall, guys, really solid night here. Got 4 picks. Hopefully, we can parlay those good vibes into today's video. Really looking forward to this one, guys. Let's dive into today's picks. Wait, it feels like I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah. Money gun. Let's go. You think I wasn't going to bring out the money gun after a cash like that? Come on now. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your 5 units right there. Boom, baby. Let's go. Jumping right into the Outlier screen, guys. Shout out to Outlier, the best sports betting tool on the market. Guys, if you watched my videos before, you'll know what Outlier can do for you. If you're new here, stick around. I use Outlier in every single one of my NBA player prop videos here. It's the best sports betting tool in the market. It consolidates all the data, the patterns, the trends that you need to make smart sports betting choices. And the best part is, guys, with our partnership with Outlier, they're giving you a very special offer. Use the link down below in the description. Get a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. Like I said, I show you guys a lot of data in these videos, but I'm only showing you guys a little bit of what Outlier can provide. There's so much more insight, so much more information and data that there is. You can get even deeper and deeper into your bets, into these player props and whatnot. There's so much, but I can only show you so much in these short videos. So the best way to go ahead and figure it out is to go ahead and try it yourself. 7-day free trial, link down below in the description. No cost to you at all. You don't like it after 7 days, you cancel, no cost at all. But I'm telling you guys, you will love Outlier. I'm not just saying that to be a bullshitter. If I wasn't sponsored, I would still use Outlier because honestly, it does make me a better sports bettor. It makes Ev a better sports bettor. It makes Trey a better sports bettor. Everybody here on the channel agrees. Without Outlier, we'd still be good, but it'd be a lot harder to do our job. It takes what used to be for me hours and hours and hours of research and consolidates it. So now it only takes me maybe an hour every day to do my research. Special thank to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. I've gone on a long enough here. We're now 4 minutes into the video and no picks yet. Let's dive into the picks. Our first player prop in today's slate, we have the Grizzlies-Sixers game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies over 21.5 points plus assists. We're getting this for -120 on DraftKings. It is available on multiple sportsbook for varying odds. Guys, as always, make sure to shop around for the best sportsbook odds available. Now, the data so far this season does not look fantastic for Jaren Jackson Jr. He's only cashed the over in 1 out of 4 games for Memphis so far this year. That game versus Brooklyn, he had 30 points and no assists. To be fair, he's going to cover this mostly in points anyways. We just throw the assists in there because the line's a little bit better. He's averaging 19.75 points plus assists per game so far this year. But the overall data for Jaren Jackson Jr., although this year it's not great, the recent data, the last year's data, the head-to-head data, everything else looks pretty solid here. In 2023, a 64% hit rate on this over, 42 out of 66 games last year for Jaren Jackson Jr. He cashed the over, averaging 24.85 points plus assists per game last season, a 64% hit rate. So this is a line that he does typically hit. And the head-to-head data also, only one game last year versus Philly, but in that matchup, he had 30 points and 1 assist, and what was a 115-109 win for Memphis. The key thing to note here, there's a couple key things that the data doesn't really show. This is why sometimes the data is good, but you have to look a little deeper into the data to get a full understanding here. For example, overall, the Sixers this year defensively, they're about middle of the road, 17th in points allowed, 16th in assists allowed versus centers in particular. They're actually 21st in assists allowed, 3.8 assists per game against opposing centers, but they're actually a top 3 defense against centers, giving up just 13 points per game so far this year. However, if you look at who the Sixers have played defensively against centers, they played Brook Lopez, Miles Turner, Jaren Duran, and Jakob Poeltl. Not exactly the cream of the crop of centers. Specifically, offensive centers. The centers have only cashed this over of 21.5 points plus assists in one of those 4 games, and that was Jakob Poeltl for the Toronto Raptors. But like we said, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a much bigger offensive center than most of those other guys. He averaged last year 24.85 points plus assists per game last year. Most of those are coming in points. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the number 2 scoring option on this team after John Morant right now, especially with some of the injuries that Memphis has. And that's the other key thing to keep in mind here. There are a lot of injuries for Memphis right now. No Desmond Bane, no Gigi Jackson, no Luke Kennard, no Marcus Smart, no Cam Spencer, no Vince Williams. Just like last year, the Grizzlies have been overrun by injuries here early in the season. And just to go ahead and show you guys my last data point for this prop, it's the reason why I love this prop, honestly. Look at the filter here provided by Outlier. Games without certain players. So we'll go no Desmond Bane, no Gigi Jackson. Let's see if we can go ahead and roll this down a little bit more here without, we'll go no Marcus Smart, no Luke Kennard. Now, these specific players out, it's a pretty small sample size, just 2 games last year without all those players, but 100% hit rate, averaging 35 points plus assists per game. You see, when those guys are out, he takes a lot more shots. Look at the shot attempts here. 21.5 field goal attempts in those games, 5.5 potential assists. He's playing a significantly more amount of minutes as well. But even if we go ahead and narrow it down, this is just games last year without Desmond Bane. So he's obviously one of the big players on this Grizzlies team, one of the biggest offensive players. When he plays, obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. doesn't have to do as much offensively. When he didn't play last year in 25 games, pretty good numbers for Jaren Jackson Jr. He cashed the over in 20 out of 25 games, averaging 28.6 points plus assists per game last year without Desmond Bane, an 80% hit rate overall. And obviously, he played the Sixers in that data rating without Desmond Bane. That's one of the games that he cashed the over, 30 points and 1 assist again. So really good numbers. Then you see the overall volume for him, for Jaren Jackson Jr., when Desmond Bane, a little technical difficulties here. When Desmond Bane doesn't play, 20 shot attempts per game for Jaren Jackson Jr., 6 potential assists per game, 33 minutes per game. So overall, his volume, everything goes up significantly. And the insights provided by Outlier, Jaren Jackson Jr. has exceeded 22.5 points plus assists per game in 15 of his last 19 games on the road, an average of 28.8 points plus assists per game over that span. Really good numbers here. I know at first glance the data may not be fantastic, but I think overall you'll see the overall picture that this is a really good prop. You're going to throw 1 unit on this play. I promise, guys, we will not spend 4 minutes on every single pick in today's video. Our second pick in today's slate, we have Warriors-Rockets, 8 p.m. tip-off. We're going Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets, over 14.5 rebounds plus assists. Getting this from -115 odds on varying sportsbook. Now, overall, last year, Şengün, a 44% hit rate, 28 out of 63 games last year. He cashed this over. He did average just about that line, though, 14.3 rebounds plus assists per game last year. His line is obviously elevated because so far this year, he's been cashing it pretty consistently. You see an 80% hit rate so far this year. 4 out of 5 games this year for Şengün, he's cashed the over, averaging 16 rebounds plus assists per game so far this season. Like I said, this line would probably go a little bit lower, but because he's been cashing it so much this year and the matchup, all that stuff being taken into consideration here, the line's a little bit elevated. The head-to-head data, he cashed it in one of his last 2 meetings versus the Warriors the last time they played. Back on November 20th of last season, he had 13 rebounds and 5 assists. It was a 5-point loss for the Rockets. In the previous meeting in October of last year, he had 5 rebounds and 7 assists. So averaging 15 rebounds plus assists per game last year against the Golden State Warriors. And look at the matchup versus Golden State. Now, Warriors this year, not very good down low. They are 21st in rebounds allowed to opposing centers, giving up 13.2 rebounds per game, and 24th in assists allowed to opposing centers, giving up 4.2 assists per game. Looking at Şengün, the opportunities have just been there for him. He's playing about almost 30 minutes per game, 29.7 minutes per game so far this year. 24.8 rebound chances per game. There's so many rebound opportunities for Şengün each and every night, at least 22 in every game this year. So tons of opportunities, tons of chances to go ahead and grab some boards. And even the potential assists, really high, 8.3 potential assists per game so far this year for Şengün. So tons of volume, tons of opportunity for him. He's averaging about 12.4 rebounds per game this year. He's going to cash this mostly in rebounds, but I do think he puts up enough assists to go ahead and cash this over. And one last data point here, if you weren't convinced already, guys, Alperen Şengün has exceeded 14.5 rebounds and assists in 12 of his last 14 games at home, averaging a whopping 18.6 rebounds plus assists per game at home. We can go and show you guys that data point right here. This is the insight brought to you by Outlier here. And there a couple of games so far this year versus Memphis earlier this year, versus Charlotte. So a couple of games already in this season fit this data range. But overall, over his last 14 games at home, Şengün's had a lot of success on this line. So give me the over here. We're going to put 1.2 units on this play. All right, guys, our third prop in tonight's slate, we're looking at the Cavs-Bucks game, 8 p.m. tip-off. We're going Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks under 12.5 points. The data looks pretty solid on this one, guys. This year so far, 3 out of 5 games Brook Lopez has cashed the under. He's averaging 11.4 points per game. A couple games he's finished close below the line, but still the under cash nonetheless. 11.4 points per game so far this year. Overall, last year, too, a pretty solid cash right there on this under. A 53% hit rate last year, 45 out of 85 games, including playoffs. Brook Lopez cashed his under, averaging 12.89 points per game last season. But the key thing for me, guys, in this one is the head-to-head data. Each of his last 4 meetings against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's cashed the under, averaging 9.75 points per game against the Cavs in each of the last 4 games. So some really good numbers there for Brook Lopez in terms of versus the Cavs. And overall, it makes sense. The Cavs right now top 5 defense in the NBA this year. Versus centers, they are top 10, giving up just 15.7 points per game against opposing centers. Between Jared Allen and Evan Mobley holding it down low, it's really tough to score if you're a big man against this Cavs defense. Brook Lopez is also on the older side of things, so you got to imagine that he's slowing down a little bit here. I like the matchup here. I think Cleveland's defense should be able to slow Brook Lopez down. Versus the Cavs, he's shooting just 42% from the floor. I mean, look at the last time they played. He shot 14 shots and shot just 29%. This Cavs defense is brutal, and I just think if Milwaukee, they have Giannis, they have Lillard, they'll probably look to those guys to maybe carry more of the scoring load. Brook Lopez, I just don't expect him to have a very big game tonight. Give me 1 unit on this play. And one last data point, guys, in case all of that didn't convince you. The insight is provided by Outlier. Brook Lopez has failed to exceed 12.5 points in 13 of his last 16 games dating back to last year versus top 10 defenses for points allowed. 10.1 points per game in those games, an 81% hit rate. So a lot of great data points in this one. I love the under here for Brook Lopez. All right, guys, and our fourth and final prop from today's slate, we're looking at the Thunder-Clippers game, 10:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Lou Dort of the Oklahoma City Thunder over 12.5 points plus rebounds. We're going to throw 0.75 units on this one. We're getting it for -105 on BetMGM here. Pretty good value there. 0.75 units. It's also available on a varying sportsbook for varying odds. So 3/4 of a unit. I'd say 1 unit if you can't get on BetMGM at the -105 line. If you're getting it for -120, probably makes more sense to put a unit down. But for this line, for this value, I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit. Lou Dort has cashed this in 3 straight games for the Thunder, 3 out of 5 so far this year, 60% hit rate, averaging 14.6 points plus rebounds per game. But again, each of his last 3 games, he's cashed the over. You see the last couple of games for the Thunder, some pretty good games there. I mean, he's not crazy new to cashing this line, a 57% hit rate overall last year for Lou Dort, averaging 14.57 points plus rebounds per game last year for the Thunder. And the head-to-head data also very solid here. See, each of his last 3 matchups against the LA Clippers, he's cashed the over, averaging 22 points plus rebounds per game. Really good success against the Clippers lately. Now, the key thing to note here is that the value is a little bit different. I mean, the volume, is a little bit different here. In those 3 matchups against Clippers, he's played over 30 minutes in each of those 3 games. And so far this season, he hasn't played 30-plus minutes in any game this year. He's averaging about 26.5 minutes per game, so the minutes played there a little bit lower. So that is worth mentioning here because obviously a couple of those cashes have been pretty close last year versus the Clippers. But the volume is definitely there. He's taking about almost 4.6 threes per game, and he's shooting about 52% from 3. So really good numbers there. 8 rebound chances per game. He's taking in general about 7.5 shots per game. So the volume is there for Lou Dort to go ahead and cash this over. And versus shooting guards, which is one of the weaker parts of this Clippers defense, they're 19th in points allowed and 27th in rebounds allowed to opposing shooting guards. And just to show you guys, last year, when Lou Dort played at least 25 minutes in every single game, when Lou Dort played at least 25 minutes in a game last year, we had a 67% cover rate, 46 out of 69 games, including playoffs. He cashed the over, averaging 15.99 points plus rebounds per game in that head-to-head matchup as well. All 3 of those Clipper games, obviously, he cashed that over. And so far in 2024, he's played 4 games in that data range. 3 out of 4, he's cashed the over. So he's done it in 4 straight games. He's played at least 25 minutes. I think he's going to probably play at least 25 minutes again here in this one. If Lou Dort plays 25 minutes, I think it's a pretty fair bet that he's going to go ahead and cash this over. Pretty solid matchup overall. Good head-to-head data. Good overall season data. As long as he plays his minutes, plays at least 25 minutes, this seems like a really solid bet for me. Give me the over here. Actually, no, I'm going to change it. We're going to do 1 unit on this one overall. So, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, guys, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I don't do videos on Sunday, so I will be back on Monday with a new NBA player prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Let's go ahead and cash some more.